London's winter chill in December 1952 drove thousands to stoke their coal fires, and as the city slept, a yellow and black fog gathered, suffocating the streets and grinding daily life to a halt. What began as familiar mist would leave over 4,000 dead in days, and far more questions haunting every breath. How did ordinary weather turn lethal? The winter air pressed down on London, locking the city in a deep chill. In thousands of homes, coal fires burned day and night, feeding warmth into rooms but sending thick plumes of smoke into the sky. Factories and power stations joined in, their chimneys pouring out even more pollution. The coal most people burned was cheap and dirty, packed with sulfur that released sharp, stinging fumes. With surface temperatures hovering near freezing, the city's need for fuel soared. Above it all, a dome of high pressure settled in, holding the atmosphere still. Instead of rising and dispersing, the smoke collected in the cold, damp air. A temperature inversion formed, and warm air trapped a layer of cold air at the ground, sealing in everything beneath it. Pollutants that would normally drift away had nowhere to go. Within this invisible barrier, every ton of sulfur dioxide and soot lingered, building toward disaster. By dawn, the city's familiar fog had thickened into something far more menacing. A yellow-black haze pressed against windows and seeped through every crack, filling living rooms, stairwells and shops with a sour, acrid stench. On the streets, visibility dropped to less than 2 meters, sometimes not even enough to see your own hand stretched out. Bus drivers abandoned their routes, unable to make out the curb or the next intersection. Trains stood motionless at stations, their headlights swallowed by the gloom. Commuters stumbled along the pavements, clutching lampposts or trailing the edge of buildings to find their way. The sound of footsteps and coughing replaced the usual hum of traffic. Even inside, the air felt heavy, thick with soot that settled on skin and clothing. London's daily rhythm stalled, replaced by confusion and an uneasy quiet, as if the city itself had stopped breathing. Official notices appeared in newspapers and on radio, assuring Londoners there was no cause for alarm. City leaders insisted that the fog, though unpleasant, was nothing out of the ordinary for December. Parents sent their children to school as usual, and office workers trudged through the gloom to their desks. Theatres advertised evening shows, offering a bit of cheer against the dreary weather. Shops kept their doors open, hoping for customers even as the streets emptied. No warnings were issued for the elderly or for those with breathing problems. No advice to stay indoors, no closures or shelter recommendations. The message from above was simple: carry on. In the face of thickening smog, daily life was meant to continue unchanged. Press clippings from the Times show headlines urging calm, with civic notices downplaying any threat. This insistence on normalcy left the city exposed, as invisible dangers settled in with every breath. Inside London's hospitals, the atmosphere changed almost overnight. Waiting rooms filled with people coughing and gasping for air, their faces streaked with soot. Nurses rushed between beds, struggling to keep up as the number of patients with severe bronchitis and pneumonia soared. Admission logs from that week show respiratory cases tripling compared to the days before the smog settled in. An elderly woman, already frail from years of chronic bronchitis, clutched her chest as a nurse adjusted her oxygen mask. Her breathing came in shallow bursts, each one a struggle. In the next bed, a child wheezed quietly, his mother wiping grime from his brow. Down on the street, a clerk named Arthur tried to make his way home after work. Every breath burned his throat, and he found himself pausing at every corner, bent double by a fit of coughing. The city's usual barriers, walls, doors, even closed windows, offered little protection. As the days wore on, the steady flow of new patients forced hospitals to line up beds in hallways. The crisis was no longer hidden in the haze outside. It was written in the faces and bodies of those filling the wards. When the smog finally lifted on December 9th, the city was left reeling. Early bulletins from the Ministry of Health put the number of excess deaths at around 4,000, an astonishing figure for just a few days. Statisticians pored over mortality records, comparing them to previous winters, and they found a sharp, undeniable spike. In those first weeks, the official story centered on these numbers, thousands dead and tens of thousands more ill with severe breathing problems. The scale was unlike anything London had faced in living memory. For the first time, authorities began to grasp the disaster's true reach, not just a spell of bad weather, but a public health catastrophe measured in lives lost. Later analysis revealed the true toll, between 10,000 and 12,000 deaths, far beyond early estimates. Outrage over these findings drove lawmakers to act. The Clean Air Act of 1956 banned smoky fuels in urban areas, created smoke control zones, and forced a shift toward cleaner energy. Scientists and campaigners had finally forced change. Air pollution still claims millions of lives each year worldwide. Clean air is not guaranteed, it is a responsibility. The cost of complacency remains as real as every breath we take.